I am the hardest working man in sports and gaming, and I am pleased to be here talking about this unveiling of my NBA for NBA 2K21 on next gen. Just ridiculous, y'all. I ain't gonna even lie. Absolutely ridiculous. So we got to talk about it. I had to test
Ridiculous,
out
y'all.
I ain't gonna even lie. Test out the. I know I got a little bit of a delay there. I had to test out the audio, but I'm gonna wait and let some people kind of like get in here a little bit. See what we can do. We got 8 people in here now. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's staying safe, healthy, the whole nine, all of that there. But I wanted to go over, basically like the article that I put out earlier today, and I also want to, kind of, there are some questions I think that people still have. I have had an opportunity to speak with developers on the team. Maybe I don't think I have all of the answers necessarily, but I do think I have some that have not yet been printed, based off of some individual questions that I've asked. So yeah, I'm just going to try to get as much information as I can. Um, and I'm actually in the process of sending another email now just to try to check to see if there's anything that's kind of loose. That wasn't included in the blog, because the blog was like over 2,000 words, I believe. Um, you know, so yeah, like I said, I'm gonna let a couple people get back in here. So y'all hit me up in the chat if you have some questions or whatever that you wanted to throw out there to me. All right, so all right, we'll hit send on that, boy. And if I get an answer to this while I'm on stream, I will definitely let y'all know. Just trying to see if there's any loose ends or whatever out there. Um, I got to do something where I fix the chat here on my little streaming situation, so that I don't have to actually have my video up at the same time to get these questions. But it is what it is for right now. We ain't gonna trip about it too much. All right, what's going on, Dope D, Vince, Brian, what's going on, Jonathan Rains? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming through. Los Santhon, what's going on? I appreciate that, sir. Designs are us. I am loving them tattoos. You know I am. Polly Pockets, for sure, with the G League. Polly Pockets, I appreciate you. Shaban, what's going on? Appreciate you coming through. Let's see. Looks like I might have just. Uh, okay, yeah. So I can tell you guys this. There is, there are things more that are in my league. I mean, I'm still saying my league. There are other things that are in my GM. I just said another one wrong. I'm crazy right now. There are other things that are in my NBA that I can't actually, I don't have all of the information about them just yet. But I know for a fact that there are other things, and I'll have to probably just wait. Hopefully, I'll get a little bit of a breakdown on them by the time, before it comes out. But there are other things that are going to be included. But I'm going to be honest with y'all, based off of just where we are right now, I think most reasonable franchise people probably would be happy even if this joint stayed exactly where it is. So I tell y'all what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of go over what's already been shared. And then from there, I'll go in and see if there's like some new stuff coming in the chat, questions and stuff like that I can go into. So yeah, I wrote this up and it went live this morning. I ended up getting an advanced look at the blog, so I kind of knew what was coming anyway. Um, so so fantasy draft, like I put, is self-explanatory. They can't ever, to me, justifiably make do a franchise mode or any sort of thing in any sports video game at this point without giving you an opportunity to do a fantasy draft. So I'm happy that that's in there. You can customize league rules, change the lottery, the whole way the lottery works. What, like, if you wanted to make it where, the lottery is only a certain amount of teams, I believe you can change that. So the structure of that, the standings, all-star, the way all-star teams are selected, you can change that. You can adjust the shot clock. Most of this stuff is stuff you could do before shot clock fouling out. I can't remember if lane violation was something you could take out before. It might have been. 8 second violation, I know you could take that out. Backcourt violation, I can't remember if you could take that out, but I think you could. You can change the playoff structure. You can add a possession arrow. How many fouls you need to get into the bonus. You can take goaltending off. You can take the back to the basket. 5 second rule out. You can add sudden death overtime. I'm pretty sure that was in there before. Free throws. I think you can eliminate free throws, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I think you can. That might even have been in there before. You can adjust the salary cap, the way trades are functioning, draft, contracts, and then the Elam ending. A lot of people didn't know what the Elam ending was. They probably knew what it was at first, right? Like they know what it is. They just probably didn't know it was called the Elam ending. So for anybody that doesn't know, or it's not clicking with them right now, the Elam ending they used in the All-Star game back in February, which based on the way that 2020 has been going, February seems like it was 2015 to me. That's just how it feels. Because I was at the All-Star game, at the All-Star weekend or whatever, and it just feels like it was years ago, right? Because it's in my hometown of Chicago. But essentially, they did it to honor Kobe, but the concept was created by a doctor named Nick Elam, and it's funny because after this article went live this morning, he messaged me on LinkedIn and thanked me for including it in the article, which, really 2K deserves some of that credit, all of that credit actually, because they're the ones who actually put it in the game and called it the Elam ending. They could have just kind of like hijacked the concept and not used his name, but they didn't do that. So what it is say, for instance, you're at the end of regulation, the score is 133 to 129. You add a specific number onto the end of the team that's leading score, or if it's tied or whatever at the end of the score, and now you're playing up to that point. So the score to win the game can be different for every game. So if it's 133 to 129 and the Bulls are beating the Pacers, if 24 is your Elam ending score to win, then you would add 24 points to 133, and then so it would be 157 to win the game. So you can add that in as the way how for all of your games in your MyNBA save to be finished. Now, you might not want to do that, and that might not be cool to you, but if you think that's cool, to be able to do something like that, to have that as an option, is just crazy. Because so I'm a person, I love to do those simulations and stuff, right? It's funny because I used to do stuff like that before guys like Click Productions and King of the Fourth Quarter really took the concept to a whole nother level, because now their channels are built on those. And I'm so happy for those guys, and they inspire me now because I want to go back and try to do different things like that. So if you are like into doing different things like that, or you just want to play in a different kind of way, I mean, you could do a whole entire simulation with the whole thing done on Elam endings. Or you can do an entire season with the whole season done on with Elam ending rule for every game. I think it's just insane, man. I just think that was just, it's the number of things that were put into MyNBA that 2K did not actually have to do to satisfy their fans and to continue to sell 15 million copies. They did was amazing. My man Jaden Zachary, I see you, kiddo. I appreciate you. The amount of things that they put into this mode that they did not have to put in, because it was not going to, drastically impact their sales, but they put it in, and you could tell that it was put in just to make this particular mode better. That right there, I appreciate, because we're in the middle of a pandemic, man. And most of this game was developed at the crib. You know what I'm saying? And they made money hand over fist this year because everybody turned to gaming. And the majority of that money that they made did not come from MyLeague and MyGM people. It came from my team and my career. So they could have just said everything's going there. We're not going to do nothing with this mode. And they still probably would not have felt nothing financially. So I just really appreciate somebody doing some actual work in and I'm not really trying to, um, to insult another developer team or whatever, because everybody got a different challenge or whatever. But this right here is, to me, is good work. And just the same way as I don't necessarily ever bash people, but the same, unless you Doug Flutie Maximum Football, but the same way that I will critique another developer and call out when, or even 2K, and call out when something's not right. I still feel like you still have to acknowledge when people do things well too. And this is good stuff. This is good stuff. So they also have custom rosters, which of course is what they had before. You can use your own custom rosters or download them from 2K Share. Hollywood Sports, what's going on, man? I appreciate you coming through. Customize the league, realignment, of course, total teams. This is another big one right here, right? So you can do online or offline MyNBA saves with as few as 12 teams, all the way up to the 36 that was there before. Now, some people might say, why would you want to drop the league to 12 teams? Well, there's 57 million reasons why that would be dope. The first one is because if you want to do a MyNBA Online league, which we're going to get into that in a second, and you like, you know what, I don't want to have a league where we got, most of the league is playing with CPU controlled teams. I want a league where everybody is human controlled. If you're trying to do that with 30 teams, trying to find 30 people who can be on the same page and run a MyLeague Online or MyNBA Online is really difficult, especially if you're already an adult, because people trying to get that all together is insane. You know what I'm saying? So the fewer amount of people that you can actually run a league with, the easier. So to drop it down to 12, I think is fantastic. I think that is really great. The second reason why this is dope is for people who like to go back in time and simulate old seasons, or like you can even literally almost replay the history of the NBA. They are allowed slowly and surely, they are brick by brick putting in features that allow you to replay the entire history of the NBA. Previously on current gen, they started putting in the old draft classes. Now, sure enough, they're not all complete, but there are people who go in and fill in those gaps, which is an insane amount of work. And it's not even work that 2K can do, because it's about licensing. But they give you the tools that if you want to do it, you can do it. You can put it in brick by brick, saying, hey, okay, well, they don't have Charles Barkley in the 84 draft. We're going to put him in there. We don't have Reggie Miller in his draft. We can put him in there. All the way back. So when you drop it down to 12 teams, you can go back in history when there weren't 30 teams and eliminate all those teams. And then if you know your history and you know when a franchise made its debut, or even when a franchise left a city and went to another city, Seattle Supersonics, Oklahoma City Thunder kind of thing, you can then rebrand the team to make it match. And you literally can be walking through NBA history if you so choose to put in that work and do that kind of project. I think that is just mind blowing, to be totally honest. I think it's just literally mind blowing that that's in the game. And of course, it's not 100% perfect, because some of it is about licensing limitations. Some of it is about still some technological limitations, even though they're on a new console. That console still has limitations. And then there's the limitations of, oh, we just started developing on this, so maybe there's some things that still left to be uncovered that are not yet uncovered. But either way, it's dope. Customizing the salary cap, raising or lowering or eliminating it altogether. There's a part they talk about with things that they deal with the salary cap that I think is really dope. I'm going to talk about that in a second. The simple and advanced settings. I got to figure out what that is, because I'm not exactly sure how or what the details are in there that are affected there. But there's some things that they do affect the way that your MyNBA save is going to run. So I got to get some information on that. Customizing the collective bargaining agreement. This was really dope to me, because I am a hardcore NBA fan, and I'm a hardcore, I'm a journalist first and foremost. So I do my homework in terms of understanding what's feasible when it comes to signing a player, what's feasible when it comes to completing a trade. So I know a lot of these things exist. The stepping rule that makes it where you can't trade multiple, can't trade first round picks year over year. The 30, 60, 90-day rules that makes it where you can't trade a guy, within these certain windows of signing them. All of those things. But I'm gonna be honest, there are times when you are team building, depending on if you're not necessarily, say I'm not going for the most realistic experience for this particular MyNBA save. See, I just want to do something crazy and I just want to put together a team for the sake of doing some sort of experiment or simulation. At times, all of those rules start to cramp it makes you have to work harder just to do this little experiment or whatever little thing that you're doing that you think is fun. And that's the kind of thing that some franchise mode fans love to do. So by allowing you to customize the CBA and turn each of these features on or off individually, not even collectively, they don't even make you do like this wide sweeping thing. Some just allowing you to customize this stuff is really dope. It gives you a chance to have more of your own personal experience. So I think that's dope. Then we got role playing elements. The goods, what's going on, baby? That is one of they giving out mayors in 2K community right now. The goods is definitely one of the mayors of the PC modding community. So he is the man. He is responsible for being really like the connector in a lot of situations for other people's work, his own work, and kind of getting a lot of these concepts out about about PC to about 2K on PC. If it wasn't for him, I think there's a lot of things that are being done on PC, especially that people wouldn't even know about because they may have become aware of it on his channel. So he definitely deserves love for that. I can't even tell you how many people that I have come up on because of him or his channel, or even concepts that I've seen because of things that I've seen on his channel. So definitely shouts out to him. My man Living Legend 10 is my guy. He is I think the most well-known proponent of MyLeague Online, so I know he's happy with what's going on. As well. So that's definitely, I'm definitely happy to see him in there as well. So, all right. So let's see. We got the role playing elements. So this is basically MyGM aspect of the game. Some people didn't like the fact that, they didn't like MyGM at all anyway, just period. They just thought that, they just thought that it was whack, and they didn't want to do, like, a lot of people just feel like, man, why in the world would I want to, get into that and the whole role playing thing? Why would I want to do that? But honestly, I'm a person who really likes, just have everybody having their own options, right? I love that. Like, give everybody their own options, give everybody an opportunity to do their thing and enjoy the game the way they want to. I feel like that's dope, even if it's not my thing, right? So that's what I'm noticing here with this. If you still wanted to do the MyGM aspects with the role playing things, where you do your conversations and your task and all that different kind of stuff, you can have that, and you can have it blended in with the MyLeague concepts. And the cool thing of it is even if you wanted to do this in what is now, it's not called MyLeague Online anymore, but if you wanted to do it in an online league, you can still have all of the role playing stuff involved as well. And you can turn it on or off for whoever doesn't want it. So if you had a 36 team league and only 5 people wanted to do the role playing stuff, they can do it, and the other 31 people could not. So I like that too. So I think that's dope. Let's see. See, this will happen when you do a 2K stream, especially around before the game comes out, and you don't have just your people in the stream. You get a lot of goofies. So if you're a goofy, whatever you gonna say, you better say it quick, because I'm finna send you to your room. So it just is what it is, and you're not bothering me. So I hope you don't think you bothered me, because you're a goofy and you finna go. So that's just what it is. Just you. If you are at home at 5:15 Eastern time, or wherever you are, And the best thing you can figure to do with your time is to come on the stream and say stuff that ain't got nothing to do with what the person is talking about. You a goofy, and you probably just got out your locker from school because they stuff you in it like every day. So I'm just saying. Anyway, you talking about ranked. Now, oh, here we go with our Forbes ads, and I ain't gonna say nothing about them because that's how I eat. So we gonna keep on letting them roll. Uh, Ranked. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never been a fan of ranked MyGM. That whole thing. I've never been a fan of it. Never. Like I don't think it's going to ever work. I'm not. I give them credit for trying to create some level of a competition or competitive nature to the whole thing, into a franchise mode thing, where you have leaderboards and whatever. But I just don't think that it's ever going to. I just don't think. I don't think it'll ever really work. So, they bringing it in, they keeping it here. I'm gonna see how it works for my NBA, but I'm not my whole my expectations for it are not really high. I don't have a bunch of it just doesn't seem like it's gonna be great, but we'll see. Budgets and finances, you can adjust the salary cap, the hard cap, the luxury tax options, all of that you can change. I think this is dope, right? You can change the concession prices and all of the budgeting, seating, and all of that stuff for every team in the league if you want to. So if it's 12 teams, 36 teams, whatever, you can control that for the entire league. I thought that was dope. Here's Play with Friends, which is basically the new MyLeague Online. The coolest thing about this is that everything that you can do with offline MyNBA, you can now do with online MyNBA. So according to this, there are no differences. Now, Living Legend can attest to this, that some of the biggest problems with MyLeague Online has been server strength, even though that has been cleaned up a bit over the last year, I would say year and a half. But that's been an issue. So we just hope that part is cleaned up with, hopefully they've invested more money in servers and server strength or server maintenance, and hopefully the tech itself, which may not have anything to do with it. I totally admit I'm not 100% sure of what all of the factors are with that. But hopefully stability isn't an issue. And if it isn't, I think we got a winner there overall. So automating the off-season time periods. So you can essentially, all this means is you can set your settings to simulate straight through retirements, league business, staff signings, drafting, free agency, and player progression. There's something that's been going around out there. I heard people, I saw somebody say, I can't remember who it was I saw say this, that players would age over time, like their face would get older and maybe some hair and stuff would change. I have confirmed that is not the case. Players will not change at all physically over the course of your MyNBA. They're going to look the same way it's been all the time. They're going to look the same. So I have that directly from 2K. That's not in the game. So I don't put it like this. I don't feel like that's a minus. I feel like if that was in it, it would be dope, super dope. But I don't think that it's a minus. Lamar Blackwell, and I'm not going to keep going back to the chat, but I did see this out the corner of my eye. He says that would be too hard to program. But I think, now I could be wrong because I'm not a developer, so I never ever I never take the tone of how hard is that to do. I mean, man, they could have did that. I never say that because I'm not a developer. I don't go into a doctor's office and tell them, man, all you got to do to treat this disease is just do this. Duh. I don't do that because I'm not a doctor. But my thought is, if it was set for, if you took every single render, right, that was in the game, every render, and you essentially made 3 or 4 different heads for them, right? So this is the head that they have when they are from in year 1 through 3. All right. Now this is the head that they have from year 4 through 7. And if they get there, if they play in the league long enough, this is the year the head they have from year 8 through 12. And then if they play long enough, this is the head they have from 13 through retirement. And each one of those heads have a little bit of faces have a little age, a little bit more aging on it. And maybe the last one has like a little spot of gray hair or something to that effect. I feel like that would be the way to do it. Yes, it would equal more heads, and it would the head change would be triggered by their years in the league. Like, so I feel like that's how it would have to be done. But then again, like I said, I'm not I'm not a developer, so I can't say all y'all should be able to do this. But conceptually, it would appear to me that that's how that would have to be done. So I don't know, but we'll see. The start from today feature. Now, when this blog was written, the NBA hadn't dropped that information that the league was going to restart on December 22nd. So I put that into my blog because the information came out maybe like 4 hours after the blog was sent to me. So start today still won't be in the game when it comes out, because the game comes out on November 10th and the season won't be restarting for another over a month. So that part of start today won't be activated until the season starts, but you can start from the beginning of the season or from the previous off season. Now let's get into some more goodness. G League. This ain't for everybody, right? This is not for everybody. But the fact that they are letting you play through an entire G League season, full schedule. And if you ever played MLB The Show, you kind of know what to expect. So in MLB The Show, if I play for the Cubs, if I have the Cubs, right, not only do I have the option to play all of the Cubs games, I have the option to play their AA and AAA games as well. If I literally just want to play AA and AAA games in MLB The Show, I can do that. I can like never play for the major league club if I want to. I can literally do an entire franchise mode over multiple years where all I do is play for the AA and AAA teams or either or, and never play for the MLB. 2K is now giving you that functionality in the form of the G League. Now, I think that's fire. Now, Madden can't do that because there is no the NFL doesn't have a minor league system or a sub league. So they can't do that. So that's one area where, they're not comparable. But I think 2K was basically hearing people say that, hey, we want to be able to play with the G League and all that. And then I think they were also looking over at MLB The Show's paper. Like, yeah, they are letting you do that. And we only got one minor league team to manage. They got two entire whole minor league. And then the thing about it is with MLB The Show, there is a single A club. You can't play those games. They just kind of over there, but they're there. So, that's pretty dope. What's going on, Maze King? So I love the fact that you can do that. They revamped the boom bust system. And I think this is kind of dope, man. Like, these kind of systems, I'm gonna be honest with you though, these kind of systems I worry about because there are so many if-then scenarios in this kind of coding and systems that I'm like, man, I hope that it ain't some kind of bug later. I mean, I know they'll fix it probably, but some kind of bug where, I don't know, 30-year-olds all of a sudden revert back to their potential level when they was 20 or something stupid. It just a bug that happens that nobody caught, kind of a thing. So, but I'm going to read what they had here because I think a couple of these sections I took just direct quotes because I thought they better explained it or explained it perfectly. So it says, we introduced a simple boom bust system to the game last year that added a little randomness to the potential of the prospects, but have given it a major facelift this year and completely revamped it. Younger players in the league will now have a more dynamic growth path using the boom bust system. Players can have low and high potential floors, low and high potential ceilings, and a probability to boom, bust, or hit somewhere in between. In addition, until age 23, we will continue to determine the player's potential based on multiple factors to make it so that every player will still be exciting during the developmental years. The same player could have wildly different growth paths in each save, so keeping up with scouting prospects after they're in the league will be critical to building a dynasty. We've also revamped player generation to better leverage the boom bust system to make for more interesting players to scout and further enhance draft storylines. But as always, all of this can be edited if you want to sculpt your ideal prospect. So I love that. I think that's just dope. Like, if it works properly, right? So think about it like this. So I got Killian Hayes, like, in one of my drafts, right? Say I got Killian Hayes. And in my save, Killian Hayes turns out to be a cross between Damian Lillard and James Harden, which, if you ever watch Killian Hayes play, you know that ain't the craziest assessment, because I'm going to just go off topic right now. Killian Hayes is my number one player in this draft. That's who I want the Bulls to get more than anybody. I just thought I'd take a pause and say that dude right there, that boy got game, like, for real. I'm telling you, barring injury, I don't see how he's not an all-star. But that's anyway. That's just what I wanted to say. But say, for instance, on my save, he turns out to be just an amazing guy, because he hits his boom, right? But you might have a save where he turns into a bust. I think that's dope. Like, I know sometimes comp guys and girls, they want the same thing every time. They don't want, like, the real life stuff to come in. They want to be able to control every part of it. And I think that's the biggest difference between comp and sim players, because comp players want to control everything, because the bottom line for everything for them is winning and losing the game. And I understand that perspective. But the bottom line for sim people is realism, even if it means I lost. And I think that is the best way to define the two different game player types, right? Like me, if I lose a game, of course I wanted to win. I try to win every game. But if I lose it and I go back and I look at it and I'm like, oh, I see how I lost, because this guy can't defend this guy, and he's not quick enough to defend him, or he's too short. So even though I timed this right, I just came up short because I couldn't reach my player couldn't reach him, because physically he was overmatched. Or I had this guy guarded well, like I did everything I was supposed to do, but it's Kobe and he did a tough fadeaway with two people on him. The shot went in. It was Mike. He made a tough fadeaway. Oh, I had him guarded. It was LeBron. He powered through it. I'm not going to get mad at that, because I understand the real life part of it. But comp people get upset because I did everything I was supposed to do. It was a green, or it was a blah, blah, blah. He's a lockdown. That shouldn't happen for a lockdown. Like, that's just not the way sim people look at the game, And so I think that this whole boom or bust system would be something that might not appeal to people who play more of a comp style, but for people who like sim and like the stories and things that can come out of those kinds of experiences, you'll love this. They added an additional assistant coach, which is to match how most NBA coaching staffs run. And that new coach is going to impact your player's performance. I don't know how, but it is what it is. These two features now, and this is one of those things that the Goods pointed out. The Goods found this on Current Gen, and I believe the next person I saw who had it was the infamous New York. The 2K share setup and scenarios. I talked to 2K about it when they first put it in Current Gen, and I'll be honest, they kind of downplayed it. And when he was downplaying, when I was talking to him, I was like, oh, this has to be on schedule to be a bigger part of what they're doing on next gen. So I didn't keep asking. I just said I will wait to see how it was going to come out. And so 2K share setup, I thought is like something I think is just dope. Like, it's a lot like sliders for a league. It allows you to arrange and share with the community league rules, teams, rosters, etc. But on top of that, if you want to just create a different league or even a college basketball experience, people are going to be able to download this so much easier than they were in the past. You have people like, what's my man's name? Oh my God, what's his name? He does the college, 2K college. I think it's Skills from the Six. I think his real name is Curtis. I think I might be mixing two people up, but I think his name is, I think it's Skills from the Six. He creates this, Skills from the Six. He creates a college hoops thing every year. And if you are like new to that whole joint, the steps that you have to go through to do that can be intimidating from people, right? They be like, oh man, I got to do what to do to who? But with this, you wouldn't even have to do anything but search college hoops experience, and bam, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be honest with you, I really do feel like I'm a Hunter. I'm gonna answer questions after I go through this list. So I didn't look at anybody's questions really yet, but I'm gonna go back up and look at the chat after that. So y'all can keep asking, and I'm just gonna go back up and go straight down. But I mean, literally, I really think that people who go through all of that trouble and stuff to set up projects, I really recommend y'all setting up a Patreon or some sort of PayPal thing just to take donations. I'm not saying you get charged nobody or anything like that. But you know what I'm saying? I really feel like, you know, people, you know, it takes a lot of work to do this stuff. You know, I've made countless humongous rosters in my time. I have, you know, done all this kind of stuff before. It take a lot of work. Ask King of the Fourth Quarter, ask Kenny Beecham, ask Click Productions how many hours they spend just setting up a simulation video. Right now, they getting paid already when you come watch their videos. But a lot of these people, Skills from the Six got a YouTube channel, but he don't push it like that. But a lot of these people some of these people don't even have YouTube channels and stuff like that. And yet they still put out all of this stuff just so people can have another way to play the game. And I feel like those guys should have a Patreon or PayPal just to allow people to just drop them some, you know, a little something. You know what I'm saying? Just a little something. You know, I ain't saying you got to be like $500 a pop. But I mean, if you just want to drop the dude $10 just for the hours of enjoyment that person's work is going to provide you, I think that's pretty dope, honestly. And like I said, ain't no requirement, but just to have that as a spot for people, I think is dope. But yeah, 2K Share Setup allows you to do that. Now, this 2K Share scenario is just as dope, if not doper, because I mentioned this to 2K about 3 years ago. I said, because we started talking about situation mode. I was at one of their events. I can't remember which one it was, but I was like, y'all need to bring situation mode back. That was back when they still don't have that. So that's something that I guess you could say is missing. But that was back in the day when they had this mode. It was called situation. You could go into a game. It was almost like a dev kit almost, but you could go into the game. You could be like fourth quarter, 15 seconds left. You could set how many points a team had, set how many points your team had. You could try to set all these challenges for yourself. Oh, can we come back from 30? Oh, can we come back from 10? If you just want to say, oh, can I make a last second shot? Whatever, you could do all of that. I don't know why they took that out. Feels like it was something that they could put back in, but I don't know why they took it out. But this is kind of like that for an entire season, right? You can set up an entire league, get to a certain point in that league with custom rosters, the whole nine, and say, all right, y'all, the community can take it over from here. So I see a lot of people saying Kobe mode, Kobe, and that's exactly what you could do. You could literally go to 1996, bring Kobe, do the draft, say, all right, I got the Lakers. Or you could be like, I'm going to come in right before the draft. I'm going to be the Hornets. I'm going to draft Kobe, but I'm not going to trade him. I'm going to keep him. But honestly, if you do that draft over, Kobe's probably going to go number 1 or 2 or something like that in that draft if you drew it over. Whatever, depending on where you pick it up at, you can even just set the rosters and just put Kobe on the Lakers or put Kobe on the Hornets or whatever and say, all right, from here, now we're going to play the rest of the league. And remember, you can set the teams to not, I can't remember if the last expansion team was in at that point yet. But if the league was only 29 teams at that point, you could put 29 teams and then bring in the last franchise team later on, all of that. But somebody can set that up and save that scenario and name it the Kobe Challenge. You can set another scenario, like I saw Click Productions did a video that it was in my mind to do, but this is his main focus. So he does, he can turn out more ideas quicker than I can. But what if LeBron played in the 90s? You can literally take LeBron, drop him on a team in the 90s, and go back to the, if somebody does a 1991 roster or a 1990 roster, and just play straight through it and save that. And all of these different, it's literally like the ideas are limitless. A lot of them take some work to do, but the concepts are limitless. And with so many content creators and so many people creating, literally crowdsourcing the franchise mode concept on 2K, it's crazy. 2K was smart, man, to give all of these passionate people more tools for which to create content for their game. It's like, you know what? We got people who literally are pumping life into our game on a daily basis, and all we got to do is give them the tools to make more. And I think that was just dope. Then you got one of my favorite things. You would think I had a body full of tattoos as much as I've been asking for tattoos on creative players in 2K. I ain't got one, not a nail real tattoo, but I have desperately wanted this in the game for creative players. Finally, you can put tattoos on creative players again in 2K. And from what I'm seeing, it doesn't look like it's a horrible, I've never put a tattoo on my career guide, so I don't know. Y'all have to tell me if this is exactly the same, this whole thing. But I don't know how many different tats you'll be able to choose from. I'm looking at this one. I'm not sure if it's a bunch, but to be honest with you, I'm not as much tripping about not being able to maybe design my own tattoos, because here's the thing that I know. While I'm not going to misuse this situation, I know there are a lot of people that will. So as a business, as an organization, 2K, EA, all of those people have to watch what they give people an option to do. Because if they let you bring in your own tattoos, now there are games that do it. WWE 2K lets you do it without no whatever. But if they let people on NBA 2K community bring in their own tattoos, you're gonna have gang symbols, you're gonna have swastikas, you're gonna have I kill babies, anything reprehensible that you could think about, somebody gonna try to do on a tattoo. And they could already be doing it in other parts of the game. They could. And so I'm telling you, that's the thing that scared me the most about some of these features that I know are dope. It's just that people coming around and messing up stuff because they're ignorant. Like, we just had two people to come into the chat just saying just stupid stuff for no reason, just for nothing, just because they just stupid. And this is how their life works on a day-to-day basis. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you heard, the saying when people say, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things, because somebody going to try to show and do something stupid. And the thing of it is some people will say, well, the answer is just ban them. Well, here's the problem as a business, right? If somebody comes out here, like this happened like in 2018 when they had the t-shirt creator, which is why the t-shirt creator went away. Somebody came out and did a bunch of these like real racist shirts or whatever. Well, the picture went viral online, right? And so some businesses and stuff got a hold of it and started seeing it. And yes, they did whatever they had to do to remove it. But you got to think about it. Not everybody understands how 2K works, right? So we know people who play the game, oh, that's just an idiot. That's an outlier. That's this stupid person doing this. 2K did whatever they needed to do to clean it up. But somebody else outside of that, maybe even an investor who don't know nothing about it, sees that and go, oh, that's what's going on in 2K now. And you might think that sounds stupid, but you got to think about how many people don't know nothing about 2K except for whatever comes across, whatever they see Ronnie do, like real high level stuff that's not like down here in the whole trenches where we are. And from a business standpoint, you got to think about certain things like that when you give people tools, because people will mess it up, especially when you consider it is a video game, right? So we still talking about a lot of kids. And you know kids ain't got good sense. I mean, they don't. They go do kid stuff. It's just what you have to expect. You know what I mean? And then you got a bunch of young adults that's just, you know what I mean, off the heezy. You know what I'm saying? So you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? And I know that for a fact, some cool stuff we might miss out on because you got to always compensate for crazy. I've always said that you always got to compensate. You know, as a writer, you know how many stories that I have wanted to write. I'm talking about fiction stuff, and then I'll be in the process of maybe outlining it or thinking about I'm gonna write this, I'm gonna put this, and it may have some characters in it that's just straight dastardly, and I'll be like, man, do I want to put this out here because people latch on to the wrong stuff? And of course, there's all these kinds of movies and stories out here anyway, and people gonna latch on to whatever. But do I want to be the seed for it? And that's just me. I think like that. I know not everything works that way, but it's a shame. You always got to compensate for crazy. Always, always. The next thing is new hairstyles are in for Cap. So I got that confirmed because that wasn't mentioned. And that's one of them little things that can slide under the rug. They always advertise what you can do for your My Career, for your My Player, but they never advertise what you can do for the offline creative players. And so you can use new hairstyles. Also, the new hairstyles that are in the game, you can do those for creative players. Now, what I don't know, which was the same last year, like last year or in current gen, you have far more body types that you had access to when it comes to creative player than you do on offline. I'm hoping that is something that changes, because I got to ask that question. I haven't asked that question yet. So that one's something that I do need to ask. The slide navigation thing, I think is cool. You only probably going to really appreciate that if you are if you do like a lot of work inside the mode. If you do a lot of work inside the mode, you'll probably be like, oh yeah, that is dope, because it just makes navigating through the menus quicker and easier. And so if you've ever made a roster, or if you've ever done those kinds of things, you know, just sometimes bad navigation, you know, construction will drive you crazy. So that's a cool thing. All right. So now let's talk about a few of the things that's not there. I got confirmed there is no face sculpting. So they told me directly we kept face sculpting the same for this year to focus on other elements that were a little more in need of love. But this is when they told me that the new hairstyles were in. I would have definitely liked to see more face sculpting. Definitely. But that's not there. Because of everything that is there, I'm okay with it. It sounds to me that you will be able, that's something that they may have coming down the line. That sounds like that to me. But yeah, I think you're going to be dealing with the exact same creative player tool that you had last year, with the exception of you'll have more hair. And I do think the body type thing is probably going to be available. And I see somebody asking about picking takeovers. I think that's going to be available too. I don't know that for a fact, but I kind of think it will be. But in terms of face sculpting, I think that'll be a next year or year after that thing. I don't know. For me, it's not a horrible trade-off considering everything that's there, but that's just me. No year-to-year saves, I don't think. MLB The Show is the only sports game right now that offers year-to-year saves, and I think that is just insane, like just dope, right? To me, I think it is one of the single greatest franchise mode features anybody ever created. I've been asking and wanting this from 2K and from Madden ever since MLB The Show dropped it. To me, it makes all the sense in the world, because all you're doing is further investing your fans of this particular mode into the game. Because if I start in MyNBA Online And man, we went through two and a half seasons, and we in the middle of that third season, you know, and the new game is coming out. Do we want to just stop and get rid of all that history that we created? No. You know what I'm saying? I gotta turn this light out. It's hotter than the Sudan up in this boy. Like I feel like I'm standing on the equator. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to get rid of all of that. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to continue my history. Now, of course, if there's some limitations to continue in that league, I understand. I get that. But if I'm willing to sacrifice those whatever I can't transfer over just to keep my history going, that's something that I'd be willing to do. Let's see. It appears that court customization is still limited to the same floor areas. So I know this is a big one for people like the infamous New York he did the awesome Summer Circuit mod and some other, he's done some really cool stuff with courts and stuff on PC, and even some cool stuff on console too. But it looks like to me, they didn't confirm this, yeah or nay, but I'm pretty positive that all of the areas that you could mod or not mod customize before are the same ones. So it's like the center court, there's a logo that you could put like the court name up by one of the 3-point lines, and then there's a little logo inside the 3-point line that you can use, and then you can put the names on the baselines and then on the sidelines, and that's probably pretty much it. I don't think it's going to be anything more than that. The Goods just said something interesting though. Hoping that you can create smaller G League arenas. I'm interested in seeing what arenas are the G League teams gonna play in, because some of them play in different places. So, Cavante, I am going to answer that what you just said about the bubble. They told me specifically that they chose not to have the bubble. Like they made the choice not to use the bubble, and the explanation, the reason for that was because in their minds the bubble is a temporary situation. And they did not know whether or not people wanted to be even reminded of the bubble, essentially. Like the bubble, for some people, the bubble represents a hard time, a bad time in life or whatever, that players in the NBA had to, and the games are supposed to be an escape from real life, so to speak. And so, I do think, like you said, K6R said they could have given the option to do it. And I get that. I'm not too irritated about that. Now, if you gave me the options to create the bubble, then I think that would probably be the best thing. So because if you flip through it and you look, you're like, oh man, I could probably do the bubble with this because I could do da. That would be dope. But yeah, I what I do think? I think that once NBA teams actually do get back to the arenas, I still think they're going to end up doing things like keeping those, like the virtual fan thing, because I think they'll have a section that'll be like for virtual fans, because honestly, it's revenue that they could be getting that they don't get right now. And that's just an extra ticket that they could sell, even if it was just like $5, $10. If you had some section where you could have, I don't know, 1,000 virtual seats, it'd be something that, you know what I mean, that they could definitely keep. So I always think people are going to do whatever they can do to maximize revenue. I mean, I would do it as long as it's not hurting anybody. So that's that. But my last word on this in my article, I talked about it. It's a quote that Eric Benish, who was the executive producer of the game, he put in. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I ain't gonna even lie. This quote kind of got with me a little bit because, I don't know about everybody else, but this time has been tough for a lot of people. Tough for me. I've had some days where I'm just like, I wake up, I feel like a hamster just running on a wheel, And I work from home, so I've noticed that essential workers have seemingly dealt with this time a little bit easier, because in some ways, and I mean that only from like a mental health standpoint, because a lot of what they do hasn't changed, right? They get up and they go to work every day, and yes, they got to wear a mask and certain safety precautions or whatever have been put in, but their day-to-day routine hasn't changed much because they still get up and get out every day. But people who work from home, have had to find different ways to stay active and to stay whatever. And I'm have fallen into that category. And some days is a struggle. So when somebody's creating a product that's supposed to be for my enjoyment, I appreciate when they put in some type of effort and didn't just take it like whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what this is, you know. So he says one of the main things that we wanted to do with our first entry on those new consoles was to not take anything away from our franchise players. All too often, a new console generation means starting from scratch for franchise fans and having to start getting features back with each subsequent release of the game. We didn't want to take that approach this year, and with MyNBA, we have given our players everything that we had on the last console generation, plus a whole lot more. The second main thing was we wanted to do with MyNBA is lay the groundwork for the next 6+ years. We feel that by combining the previous modes into the all-encompassing MyNBA, it'll make it easier to add features down the road. Rather than trying to split time with 3 different modes that have varied requirements, everything we do will be for the MyNBA brand. Man, first of all, I'm going to tell y'all something. The percentage of 2K players that play My League and MyNBA was very small compared to not Park, compared to my career and my team. Very small. And everybody knows my career and MyNBA are the money. That's where the money come from. That's where you got people spending hundreds of dollars a month on top of what they spent to buy the game, which is probably $100 because they got the collector's edition. Truth be told, most franchise people spend that $59.99 to get that game, and that's a wrap. Every once in a while, some of them will spend $100 because they really like whoever's on the collector's edition, or maybe they just a collector, right? So my league does not have more players than my team, bro. I'm gonna promise you that. I've seen the analytics. I don't know who or how they spent the goods. I've seen the analytics, and I know for a fact how many it is. And my league people need to get that in their head and stop thinking that they bigger than they are, because they not. They not. This number is not that big. It's not. If you just think about it, you think about the average age of a My League player. Think about it. It's not a lot of people, bro. It's not a lot of people. I mean, it's not. I mean, we're it's an older crowd. It's an older crowd, and it's how many people? You know. I mean, even it's. And if you think about it, like I said, if you got 1,000 My League players, 1,000 of them spent $59.99 probably. Maybe 100 of them bought the Legends edition, and they're not spending a dime after that. And I don't blame them, because you spend for what you want to enjoy. But this is who you are. But then say your number, say you are right. Say there's 800 My Team players. Okay. A My Team player bought the $99.99 version for sure, almost, because he wanted whatever the boost and the extra VC, the packs that come every other week, all of that. So he bought $99.99. So he $800 times 100 right there. And then we go into what they're spending every month. It's not even comparable, man. I've literally talked to multiple people at 2K on multiple levels. It's not even comparable. It's not. I think My League people want to believe that they are a bigger part of the demo than they are, because it's very hard as a gamer, especially when you're a hardcore gamer, to accept that your time as being the most prevalent group is not here anymore. Like it's a tough pill to swallow, but I'm telling you from not from a standpoint of guessing, from a standpoint of knowing the numbers. If you saw the numbers, you would be like, dang, wow. And when you see those numbers, you will have a greater appreciation for what was done in this mode this year, because this mode is not selling nearly as many copies of this game as the city, as my team, and as all that. It's not. It's not. Y'all can believe whatever y'all want to believe, but I'm telling you, and there is nobody you will talk to who is inside this organization that will tell you anything different. Not if they're speaking candidly. Now, if somebody say something just because they want to make somebody feel good, but I've seen it. I've seen it. So I know that ain't it. Now, here's the thing. 2K is not going to come out and tell you, oh, you're just 3% of our group, because that's going to make you feel small. And you don't want to make no customer feel small. Oh, well, who cares? You're only 10% of our. They're not going to, no business is going to come out and tell you, oh, you don't represent very much of our demographic. They not, because that's bad business. If somebody does do it, that's bad business. They're not going to do that regularly. This is what it is. So my point is, to have this put in this game, man, honestly, on the real, is insane. But I do believe that what happened with Fixed Madden franchise this year, which, like I said, when I started that hashtag, I had no idea why or how that was going to get that big. But I'm telling you right now, man, what's going on with what 2K did, jumping on right after that, I was told that this really, really got the attention of a lot of sports video game franchises, because they did not want to get the same bad press. Now, that's the thing about it. That's what kind of equals it out. It's about bad press. Even if the numbers are bad, if they get bad press about anything, it's just like the images on the shirts thing that I was talking about. If these companies get bad press, then the numbers don't matter quite as much for that, because now they're like, oh, wait a minute, people are talking bad about us. That could cost us something from an investor standpoint, because if somebody says, oh, we don't want to be involved with that, then whatever. Then now that's when it becomes an issue. That's the only reason the Madden fixed Madden franchise became anything. Their franchise demographic is definitely higher than 2K's. 2K has the smallest franchise demographic of any of the three major sports. Any of them, by far. It ain't even close. So, but because EA started to get that bad press, that's what made them jump. Because their leadership, and I know this from speaking to people who are current members of Madden's development team and people who used to be there who left, their leadership right now on that team does not care about franchise. That's the reason why all of the resources, for the most part, have been dumped into Ultimate Team, because Ultimate Team is what makes the game money. Ultimate Team is what ultimately gets dictated or pushed out as being the barometer for the game's success. Oh, we made almost $1.5 billion in microtransactions, mixing that in with FIFA. Oh, we did this, or we did that. That money's coming from Ultimate Team. That's where that's coming from. So that's where their leadership is pushing. But now when they get this bad press about franchise mode, now, oh, let's put something together. Let's put something together. And for Madden 21, it's not going to be that great. It's not going to be that great. You know what I mean? It's not going to be that great. The information is going to be coming soon. I'm going to tell you that because I know it is. I know exactly. I already know what it is. And I'm going to tell y'all, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be underwhelmed, but you got to think about it realistically. They just started working on this, y'all, like three. Now that's their fault though. That's their fault. It's their fault that they just started working on this. So now they got to eat this. But the Ultimate Team whales is still carrying them. It's still carrying them because people still dumping thousands of dollars in Ultimate Team. I talked to a dude one time and he said, man, it ain't nothing for me to spend $1,000 a month on Ultimate Team. He said, that ain't nothing for me. And I know he's not the biggest Ultimate Team spender. So you and all this whole thing about, oh, they marketing it to kids. Kids are not the ones that's spending this money. kids are not the ones that are spending this money. These are adults. These are young adults with jobs or young adults with some level of income. That is who is carrying these joints. That's who's doing it. And people like to say, oh, it's the kids and they're marketing gambling objects to the kids. Man, these kids, on the most part, if you look at the average age of a MUT user, the average age of a MUT user, I believe it said was 18 to 26. That's who's spending, so it's, I'm telling you, man, franchise. That's why a lot of these companies don't do nothing for franchise. And it is what it is. I understand who I am in this demographic, but I appreciate what's being done with MyNBA more so because I know it's not the straw that stirs the drink. I know it's not. This is people on that team who really care about this mode and the way this game plays in this way. It don't mean everything gonna be dope on it. It don't. But that little paragraph that I read to me shows that at least the people get it. At least they get it. At least they knew how to make an impression. At least that. I don't see anything about goggles. I don't know. You know what's tough about goggles? The tough thing about goggles is nobody really in the league wears them. That's the tough thing about goggles. So if you add goggles, you're literally only adding them for 4 or 5 players from the past. You're adding them for Kareem. You're adding them for James Worthy. You're adding them for Horace Grant. And that's about it. That's really who you're adding it for. And, and they already got Kareem in the game, and he got goggles with the Lakers. So that's the thing, man. I don't know. That's the thing about it. Would they even consider it to be worth it? And here's the thing. They might have tried it, right? And it created some kind of head glitch. And so then it becomes, do we spend the time to work out a head glitch for the sake of keeping goggles in? Or do we just say we ain't gonna worry about it because it's not gonna even be that big of a deal to a bunch of people? I think decisions like that end up getting made over the course of a development cycle. But let me go back and look at some of these things that I missed. You can edit. Somebody said you can edit mouthpieces in Madden. Have to do a lot of the new CBL. I'm so happy they did though. I want to see some. Cringe Client says they didn't have to do some of the CBA stuff. I'm so happy they did though. I want to see some MyNBA news though. See how much they are doing there. The MyNBA sounds like, in my opinion, it sounds like it's what MyLeague was last year. So it's definitely upgrade from what they had before. But I don't think that it's going to be quite as much as MyNBA. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Somebody said I miss player faces, tattoos, and shoes series used to do. He said that was funny as heck, man. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try. Cringe Client said I wonder if they are same tattoos as my park ones. I think they are, but I don't know. We have to see. Curtis Daniel says I just truly hope Madden Next Gen has a franchise mode we can start to love again. I think it's moving in the right direction. I do. I think it's going to be moving in the right direction. How long before it gets to where it's supposed to be, and will it ever be as good as this MyNBA? I don't know about that, but I don't know. It should be. Honestly, I'm gonna be totally honest with you, and I think I said this on the video before. Madden should have the best franchise mode of all games because football is the best suited game for a franchise mode. No other sport gives you a better experience going through a franchise mode. There's only 16 games in the season. It is the game that gives you the most chance to play through multiple seasons of all of them, because you ain't even got to shorten the season to be able to realistically play through multiple seasons in a year. So for that right there, if nothing else, the draft for the NFL is the biggest draft there is in all of sports. It's bigger than the NBA draft. It's all of the stuff that makes franchise dope. Football is perfectly set up for it, but yet it has the worst franchise mode of the 3 sports. So that's kind of crazy, but it is what it is. Somebody Designs RS says, man, imagine NFL 2K on next gen. Yeah, that might be pretty dope. Flamehawk says, I hope players sent down to the G League don't grow 15 overall in one season. Yeah, I could imagine that being the target of an upgrade down the road. We'll see. Um, let's see. Elements were brought back from 2K5, skipping on to 2K9. Let's remember that. AG3 says some of these elements were brought back from 2K5. I agree. You say we should, Lamar, you were saying we should start one and that I should oversee it. I don't know what you meant. Tell me what that was. Remind me of what you were talking about when you said that. Um, let's see what console we starting this on. I luckily got it. I don't know what console. I know I'm probably gonna. I usually play 2K on PS on PlayStation, and for some reason I have gotten in the habit of playing Madden and EA games on Xbox. I don't know why, but I got in that habit, and now I just kind of do it. I got Madden on both systems, and sometimes like I'm playing my franchise mode with the Bears on PlayStation. But when I play Madden online, this is weird, I play it on Xbox. I don't know why. It just happened that way. So I don't actually have an Xbox Series X yet. I got an S because that was the only one I could get at the time. I got that one. So my first content will probably be on that one. But after that, I'm probably almost certainly gonna switch over to PlayStation. Um, let's see. Start today as I'm there. I got Series X2. Create franchise. Yeah, franchise fiction, dude. I got an idea right now for franchise fiction. I can't wait to show y'all this. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to show y'all this. I'm working on it. Me and Junior have been sitting here coming up, working with the ways that I'm gonna do it. I can't wait to show y'all this. I think it's dope. It's long and kind of super nerdy, but it's dope to me. So, yeah. Let's see. I guess this is the first game. Oh, you better believe it. Brian Colin said this is the first game you booting up when you're. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. As much of a video game head that I am and all that, if it wasn't for 2K, I wouldn't be feeling like I needed to have next gen the day it come out. I mean, Spider-Man looks dope, and I'm sure there's gonna be some other stuff that look dope, but those games don't sell systems to me. Sports games sell systems to me, and 2K is the only sports game launch title because Madden doesn't come out to December 4th or something like that. So those sell the games to me. Try to snag a digital edition, good plan, and try. This is already there. Here, I'm just going through this to see if I missed something. Curtis says 2K should get with you and maybe stream a couple games from a legit MyLeague Online. That would be fun to watch. I think that would be dope. I would definitely be down for it. I'd probably try to bring my man Living Legend 10 in on that with me. But yeah, I think that would be super dope. Let's see. I was talking about people getting out. Matt Skizzy said, I just came in here and all I heard was him talking about people getting out of lockers they got stuffed in. They bring it out of me, man. They made me. They made me. Polly Pocket said, I'm doing the Lord's work. I sure hope I am, P. I sure hope I am. I sure hope I am. John Stinson said, what's up, bro? Hope all is well. Everything is cool. Blake said, did they improve on player lock, make it easier to emulate, create a legend from old 2Ks? I don't think so, but I honestly, bro, I feel like it's pretty easy now, honestly, to do that if you want to. I don't know, because I mean, Create a Legend didn't even have like storylines or anything like that. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, as far as I think it's fairly easy now. Let's see, what do you think? John Stinson said, I had a question. Do you think the graphics truly look next gen? I'm starting to feel like they might, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think they got the memo right about certain things not quite looking quite as good as they should. And so the last few screens that they've been putting out, I feel like have been much better, right? So I'm gonna pull up a couple of them here, and I'm gonna show you kind of what I mean about that. Let me see if I can do this without messing up the entire world. Okay, so this one didn't come out. This one didn't come out today. This came out earlier. This Kobe was way better than than the ones they'd had before. Like I'm talking about like the ones that first when they first called themselves like redoing this joint, I was like, this ain't really better, y'all. Like I really ain't feeling like this is a lot better. Like I don't know about everybody, but this ain't it. But these latest ones I feel like have been much better. So yeah, this is one of them. But then they put out a couple today that I thought was really cool too. If I can get, nah, I can't get myself back on the screen. That ain't never how you wanted to do it. We gonna have to. Okay, I see. Now I'm kicking. Yeah, this is one of them. Let me see if I can put this other one up here. Oh, and this one actually here. This one. I don't know. I don't know which one is the best one to me, but that both of those look a lot better than the other ones. And then today they came through with this one. This is the Blake Griffin, in case anybody hasn't seen this one. This one looks to me definitely better. I like just the intensity around the face. The facial hair looks better. Um, yeah, I think, and I definitely think Blake's hairline is moving back a little bit there. So I definitely feel like that's strong, and this one definitely is hot. This Zach Levine is really good. Facial hair here is good. The eyes look more alive. So I feel like they're starting to put better screens out. Because I'm gonna tell you something. Here's what I was told. What I was told is the previews that we've seen don't actually do the game justice in person. When you get the game in person, it looks way better than what you've seen in any of these previews. And one of the biggest reasons that I think that is because if you notice, none of these previews they're not rendering any of these previews really in 4K. The only one they did is like that first one with Luca in it. Everything else hasn't been in 4K. So if you're running the game at its optimal, how it's supposed to be run, and on a solid monitor or television, I think that's when you'll see it at its best. And I'm gonna tell you, because if you ever run 2K on PC and you run it on a good PC, man, sometimes it looks like it's a whole nother game, you know. So I can imagine how that might be. Let's see. John Stinson says he hopes that the classic players look better. I know they just upgraded Darren Williams, Willis Reed, Robert Parrish, and this was on current gen. Those definitely look better. So we'll see how it translates to next gen. I'm hoping we don't see some of them dudes on some of them leagues, on some of the teams, like classic teams, like Doc Rivers. Oh my God, it's a horrible render. George McGinnis like somebody hit him in the head with 6 old tires, like all of them at once. It ain't good on there. I want them to redo George for sure. If y'all got a chance, y'all go and look at George McGinnis either on the all-time Pacers or look at him on one of them old 76ers teams. I'm telling you, he like somebody caught him, dragged him behind the stagecoach or something. It ain't good at all. Henry Brown said, "Will update the NBA schedule for this year?" I don't know about that. That one I'm not sure about, because they're playing a 72 game season. I don't know if they're gonna upgrade that or update that. So that's something to watch for. We haven't heard anything about shoes yet. They did say they didn't take anything out. So if they didn't take anything out, I would assume, I'm take them at their word, because I don't have any reason not to do that, especially as it pertains to the franchise mode. I'm assuming that it's in there. I mean, the blog was already super long, and if you didn't add something new, I can understand why they would say, "Oh, we don't have to include this." So we'll see. I know they still have player lock, so I'm not really worried about that. Bear Down says, "What's up with the dunk contest? It's been whack for years." I'm assuming it's still probably the same dunk contest. That's what I think. And I do think that All Star Weekend should be a standalone mode that you can just take and put anybody in. I've been saying that for some years. I don't feel as strongly about it as I did before, but I definitely think it should still be in there. Um, he said, Curtis Daniel says, are they going to have IGN drop some doo-doo gameplay? Then everyone is going to say how bad the game is from watching people who have no idea what they're doing. I'll be honest with you. The level of somebody's play on a gameplay preview, that never makes me that I'm not watching for that. Like I'm looking at, animations, I'm looking at the graphics, I'm looking at just stuff like that. I can kind of see around that. I don't know. I hear people say that a lot, but that never affects me really. When De'Aaron Fox is like 40, have him cut off all of this. Yeah, yeah. That would be cool if they had that with the hair, but they don't. Let's see. Starting the off season. All I play is my league, but I need a more improved All Star Weekend. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Okay. Timothy Webb says, you think 2K can handle all of that on their servers? Um, I don't know. I don't know. That's my biggest worry, honestly. That's my biggest worry. My biggest worry is all this sounds great, but the people who are using my NBA play with friends are gonna be mad because something ain't working. That's my biggest worry. If that's not the case, and if this thing comes through, right? Like they not gonna have any problem with the offline parts. The only thing that might be wrong with the offline parts is, like the boom or bust system might be messed up, or there may be some little bug or something every time you create a dude that's 25 years old. He turns to be a 45-year-old after his second year, something stupid like that they'll be able to fix. But the issue that bothers me or worries me the most is just overall server stability with everything that could go into a MyNBA online league. That's the thing. That's my biggest concern. Let's see. Living Legend says, I love the new attribute of minimal and maximal potential. I think this feature has potential unless it's bugged, like you said. Yeah, that's dope because you can adjust what somebody's potential is. So if you want this person's max potential to be a 99 overall, then now you're really changing the trajectory of the boom bust thing. So I thought that was pretty dope too. Let's see. Average Kentucky fan says, I'm hyped for tattoos with caps. Good says, they said they added boom bust last year. I told people it was in the game in 2K20. Huh. I don't know. Yeah, I know that they said that they added it last year. Yeah, right. So I guess that would be 2K20. So I think I saw that last year. I didn't pay a bunch of attention to it, but I did see it last year. Let's see, but Living Legend says it was added for this one. I don't know. Maybe they started playing with it in 2K20. Let's see. Lamar Blackwell says insane draft classes with boom bust if they get it right for sure. They added to where the players have them. Yep, we talked about that. 2K20. Let's see. Midwest King says he's hyped for people that can recreate an 80s NBA roster. I love that. That's just dope. Yeah, let's see. So Maze King says that the boom bust system was in 2K21 current gen. It only worked on 2K's random generated rookies only though, and that was the problem. Yeah, I can't even tell you I know, so I definitely would be guessing on that one. Um, Tim A says that he's glad they added the G League. Living Legend 10 said, yeah, I was thinking the same, but okay. And Hunter Iggy, this is the question he said he had. I have a question. Why do all the 2003 draft look like old LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and when they need to look young? Because that's kind of what we're talking about. They only have that one head, like for the players. Like LeBron has two heads. He got young LeBron and he got old LeBron, older LeBron. Or he might have three. LeBron might have three heads though. Honestly, not in real life. That would be weird. But yeah, I think he only, I think he only has the. You know what? I've seen a simulation where the '03 draft comes in, and I cannot remember which head it was. So I don't know, but yeah, but they don't age. So since they didn't put that in there, that's would be why. So it's whatever head they give them in that rookie class is what they'll have. Um, let's see. Okay. Yeah. So the Goods and Maze King are talking about. See, I think the thing of it is that a lot of the stuff on PC, because you're able to go into the back end of the game, they're able to find things that are hidden in the game. Like there was a head for Rasheed Wallace in the game, even though like he wasn't licensed to be in the game. There was heads for several like female players for WNBA that you couldn't find them in the game. There was heads that you couldn't find. Like where in the world did they use this? Jackson Ellis, even way after he was out of the game. All of that stuff was in there on PC, and it was locked on console, and you couldn't get to it because you don't have a way to go into the internal files. So I think Goods, as being a PC guy, is talking about things that he could find from that standpoint, and console people wouldn't have access to it at all. So it's kind of like tomato tomato kind of a thing, because console people are saying it wasn't in the game, and Goods is saying it was hidden. But console people are saying if it was hidden and I can't get to it, then it ain't in there. So it's just kind of depends on how you're looking at it. Kenny May says he needs a season mode. Designs R Us says they say anything about game modes. I guess that's pretty much. Honestly, man, I don't think they're gonna do like any career modes or this is the Kobe mode or whatever, because at least not now. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm not gonna say they won't, but maybe they won't, because the way the MyNBA is set up, you can like kind of build that whole stuff yourself. So I don't know. Let's see. Good said Mazik is giving out the blueprint for the scenario shares. They should work with WNBA also. They should. I hope they do. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't, because when you go into the created roster, you can get to NBA and WNBA, so they're kind of grouping that together. So I think it should be that way. Let's see. Living Legend says, shout out to DT Linder. I ain't heard that name in so long. Sent my memory card off to him many eons ago to get names on rosters for NCAA football. Man, I remember that. I remember being nervous, like, man, this dude ain't gonna send me my memory card back. He's just somewhere collecting memory cards. But sure enough, anybody remember what was that thing called, the Dex Pro? It was some little thing where you could connect two memory cards together, and I forgot how it went, but I had to have that joint for NCAA football. It was crazy. It was crazy. I see Lamar Blackwell said, I think how many videos that is though. No Kobe mode, but you can set up a Kobe scenario in MyLeague, share it, and make a scenario. That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about. I just hope MyNBA Online will be perfect with no bugs. I can almost guarantee you it ain't going to be perfect. It's just the way it is. It ain't going to be perfect. I just hope that nothing is broken enough where it kills the experience and it's like, this is some trash. Why do we even have this? So that's what I'm hoping. Curtis said, who's the first team you loading up with to play with on next gen? I'm going with Lillard and the Blazers. Man, I don't know, man. I don't really know. I'm not sure. I am not sure. I mean, obviously I could say the Bulls because it's my team, but I think the first time I play, I'm gonna be more wanting to see like specific renders. So the first person that comes to my mind is LeBron, because I'm trying to see if does he look beastly on the court like I think he should look. I mean, like teams like Denver, because I want to see what does Bobo look like on next gen, that kind of thing. That's how I think about it before I even start like trying to win or whatever, or whatever. I'm looking at it from that standpoint. Let's see. Recreate 81 performance. I think we're only missing a few things. Maze, one of the main things is Ricky's extensions working. Living Legend is basically giving a little bit of an update on MyLeague Online. He says that one of the only things they were missing were rookie extensions working, and he said that was his biggest pet peeve. Let's see. Getting towards the bottom here on the questions. LeBron in the 90s would be fun. 90s Cavs with Ron Harper, Craig Elo, Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, and LeBron. That'd have been crazy. That's actually exactly what Click Productions did on his channel, so y'all could definitely check that out. I shouted him out on the video before. Dude got a fan. His whole channel is on NBA 2K simulations, and it's pretty dope. Like Ian Space says, I just want to play a 7-game series for the championship with my friend online. You should be able to do that. If you do a MyNBA simulation and you take it all the way up to the finals, and you do the share setup and you set everything exactly how you want it, you should be able to do that. Let's see. Making online lease. There's always a few ways to make it hard. Will you be able to give? Will you be able to give creative player goggles? I think we talked about that already. I don't know, but I would not be shocked if that's not in there. Mace King said people about to start drafting these 2K generated rosters off if they have tattoos for sure. I'm telling you, man, you're able to put tattoos on them. It's so much more individuality you can get of players. Let's see. Yeah, people taking shots at public figures and YouTubers through tats. You better believe it'll happen. You'll have a bunch of, I can't stand Fredo stuff, all kinds of stuff. It'll be just ridiculous. Cavante says people asking for what WWE 2K does for their creator wrestlers, but don't realize the t-shirt kiosk was a test and the community failed. 100. Cavante. 100. Lamar says, yeah, I'm the director of a criminal justice reform organization. Some of the most ridiculous stuff come from our man. I'm telling you, bro, it's just crazy, man. Larry Smith, our body types in there for Cap. I don't know that for sure, but I think it will be. I gotta see. Pick and takeovers, like I said, I think that's in there. New skin tones. There are a couple skin tones, especially for African American or people with darker skin. There are a couple shades in there that you can't quite find for certain people. It's like you pick the one they got and you're like, that's too dark. And then you pick the one right above it and you're like, he ain't that light. So there's a couple in there. I don't know if that's changed. I doubt it, but we'll see. Midwest King says, hopefully one day someone can create a legit Charles Barkley for these consoles. Without better face sculpting, you will never get a good Charles Barkley on console. You will never get one. I'm pretty good with the creative tool with the face sculpting on all games for the most part. And I have tried so many times to get a good Charles Barkley. It's easier to make a decent Reggie Miller than it is, but when you're talking about going to PC, man, I got a Charles Barkley right now in a video that I put out. I think there's another one coming up. I had a Charles Barkley that you'll swear this joint was done by 2K and they best artist at 2K. So Shujota or Razor did, I don't know which part Razor did. He did some part of it, but I think he got some part of it from someone else. And then Shujota took it, and I asked Shujota to give him Zion Williamson's body so that it would look more like Barkley, and that's exactly what he did, and it's phenomenal. But that's only on PC. John Stinson says, do a PS5 roster. I'm pretty sure I will be. You don't got to pay me for it, though, bro, but I definitely do appreciate it. Let's see. Sorry if you talked about this, but what a great job NBA 2K is doing impact the NFL non-sim game. Also, they are making EA look like hacks even more than they already did when compared franchise. I don't think it has anything to do with NFL, but I do think it makes Madden and EA look worse for what they are running out there as franchise mode. So I expect an announcement coming very soon for Madden franchise. Like I said, I've already kind of gotten an idea of what it is, what the first update is going to be. I expect an announcement coming pretty soon. And I think that they, this is going to light a little bit of a fire under them. It's not the biggest thing like it's my team or Ultimate Team, but in terms of from a money standpoint, but I do think, the positivity that is mostly permeating through the 2K community, at least those who like franchise, I think it does have some level of effect. Good says, like I talked about that, the smaller G League arenas. We talked about the bubble. I answered that question from Hunter Iggy. They didn't need to wait. Cavante says, I'm hearing they could fill 25 to 50% of fan capacity. I don't know if you're talking about in real life or in the game. Fans are the sixth player on the home team. I don't know. Let's see. Old school gamer John Stinson. Well, John, I'm a little bit older of a schooler gamer than you, sir. Let's see. I think you have more players than my team. According to the right, Living Legend said, "Yep, percentage is small. That's why I'm thankful for theirs. They still love franchise just as much as we do, for sure." King of the North says, "That's showing love towards their gamers. EA needs to take notice. This game was updated and improved while considering the fans, for sure." Let's see. We got to be more than 1,000 deep, right? No, that 1,000 I was saying was just a number I was throwing out. I wasn't suggesting it's only it's definitely more than 1,000. It's definitely. I think the number of like hardcore dedicated MyLeague people was closer to like 50,000. But now we talking about dedicated. I ain't talking about people who just happen on it here and there, because there's some people like that. I mean, my son plays like 2 or 3 MyLeagues with his friends. They don't like finish them, but they'll start 2 or 3 MyLeagues just playing around during the whole course of the whole cycle. So a lot of people would touch it here and there, but I'm talking about dedicated people that play it all the time. I think the number one of the numbers I heard was 50,000, and I could be wrong, but it's something like that. So if you consider the fact that the game sells 15 million copies, and that's the dedicated users. Now, over the course of time, 150,000, 200,000 people or more, even 500,000 people wander on and play my league. That's still a minute amount when you're talking about 15 million. And when you look at of that 15 million, probably somewhere like 10 or 11 million play my career. Yeah, man, it's not close, man. It's not close. Let's see. Can we go? To compare EA and 2K is like comparing Joe Biden to Donald Trump. One cares about. Well, we count all the votes. Let's see, Maze King, just for example. I think it's almost a niche crowd. Yeah, my league is a niche crowd. It really is. It is. I mean, I sometimes want people to just understand how dope this is. And I feel like when people give it a chance, they do kind of see, but it takes time. And that's one thing about a lot of people, man. A lot of people right now, man, they don't have a long attention span, and they enjoy my league and the franchise modes, period. You kind of got to stick with it a little bit, and that's just not how people built mostly this year. I mean, right now. John Stinson says, man, Lakers versus Celtics and Lakers versus Bulls was all about seasons. It was all about it. That's what his whole thing was, man. Back in the day, if your game didn't have a franchise mode, a good one, you suck. That was it. Lamar says, we got to stop complaining about small things then, but I just want things that are already in the game, like body shapes is already in the game. For sure. I ain't saying that you shouldn't never want nothing new to the mode, but I do think sometimes we had to take into consideration what's all the bigger picture, and understanding where you are, who you are, if you are, where you sit in the whole thing, Let's see, taught off, but the modes have been glitched too. MyGM has not been playable since 2K19. They should have left it alone. I agree. They should have left MyGM alone. Deshaun says, I don't understand why people like that fantasy land. I am not saying nothing bad about the city. I might not play it a lot, right? But it doesn't mean I can't appreciate that it's dope. It might not be for me, but that don't mean that it ain't dope. It's like I hear a song, right? And I'm listening to the production of the song. And I'm like, man, that beat is dope. The beat is dope. and I listen to the hook, and that hook is pretty catchy. But I don't like the song, maybe because I don't like what they're saying in it or something. Something about it that they're saying. Something I would never like put it on my playlist, or something about the song I don't like. But I'm not gonna say I don't know why nobody wouldn't like that song. I'm sitting up here and listening to the production. I could tell that whoever engineered this beat, whoever did this, knew what they was doing. I could tell. And then I'm listening to the hook, and I'm like, I totally get why people are still saying this or going around saying just this hook. I can appreciate those things. Don't mean I like the song. Don't mean I want to play it. Don't mean I want to put it on the playlist. But I can appreciate it, and that's kind of how I look at stuff like Ultimate Team. I hate Ultimate Team. I'll just be honest with you. I hate it. I freaking hate it. Like, it irritates me, just the sight of it. But I understand that people love it. And there are some things about it that's dope. There's some things about it I just don't like, which is why I don't like playing it. But there are some things about it that are dope. You know what I mean? Just the whole concept of collecting football cards and being able to go out and play with them is dope. And, some of your favorite players in history becoming cards that you can get is dope. I think they just pervert it with certain other things, like taking ratings up through the sky, and this is the pumpkin patch pack and all this. Man, get out of here, bro. Like, I don't want to do that. This Mike Vick is only at 88 speed because it's early in the Ultimate Team season and we can't let him be 95 yet because we got to save all the good cards. Man, I don't want to be bothered with this. Like, I'm not. No. And I understand why you're doing it. You got to keep balancing the mode. I get it. But that's the kind of stuff that turns me off. Position swap. How about you swap this mode out? That's what I want. But like I said, but I get it. Let's see. Doesn't that Sony something about 2K that they know it's a small percentage, but they still upgrade those modes? That's what I'm saying about Sony and 2K. They know it's a small percentage, but they still upgrade the mode. Madden was like, if it ain't making no dough, we ain't making no mode. See, as the guys, they confirm any new Cavante says that they confirm any new legends. They have not confirmed any new legends. I'm gonna be honest, bro. At this point, there's only like 3 legends that are not in the game that anybody even cares about, and one of them is Barkley is the biggest one. But you'll be surprised at how many young people mostly only know Barkley from NBA on TNT. Like, they didn't even like my oldest son. My oldest son is 23 years old, and for him, he didn't grow up in the same house with me, But for him, Barkley is like, he know who he is, and he know he played, but he doesn't have any, like, connection to him. Like, he need to be in the game for sure. No, not at all, because it's too far removed. Reggie Miller's the second one, and then Rasheed Wallace. Everybody else, unless there's like somebody who just fall. Andrew Bynum. People won't Bynum just so they can complete that Kobe Gasol team. Outside of that, I think Bynum might be in this year. I can't remember, but yeah. See, Call of Duty exec told campaign players they were small. Yeah, I bet he did. I bet he did. But I say, though, that's bad business. That's bad business. But he got away with it because it's the truth. They are small. It is a small percentage. That's why they took the campaign out of Modern Warfare, whatever one the last one they did, and people talked about it, but asked them, did it impact their sales? Probably not. Probably not. I shouldn't say sales. Probably impact their revenue. Probably didn't impact their revenue. John Simpson has talked to probably. I'm glad they still looked out. Yeah. Nam Omar says MyLeague players haven't been prevalent for years, but are glad they still looked out. That's exactly. I mean, to me, that's what it is. My career news came out today, but it's weird how it came out. Like, it didn't have a special blog. It didn't have like a video or anything. It's weird, but you can play through all 4 years of college. You can decide to go straight from high school to the NBA or to the G League. You can go through your entire G League stay, And they also did ensure that there are cinematic moments and storyline and moments and stuff after you get out of college and after you get into the NBA, which wasn't really there a lot in this year's version. So they didn't talk about that nearly as much as I felt like they should have. Maybe I'll write an article up because it looks like people are still kind of looking for that information. Hope classic players look better. Solo trio games. Anybody want to start a MyLeague Online? I definitely think some people are gonna be starting MyNBAs and setting it up like in the next week or two for sure. Did you see the G League having real players? Sorry if I missed it. That's one thing they did say. Will the G League have real players? That's interesting. I hope they do, because if you have a G League, that's interesting. That's the first time I thought about that, Mike. They could have the G League teams and only have access to guys who have been in the NBA before and who are still protected under the NBA Players Association. So that, because that's one thing that MLB The Show had an issue with this year when they put in full minors, right? They put in the full minors roster, but they didn't get access to everybody immediately. So that's a really good question. It really is. So that's something we got to look at. King of the North said this is why EA and Madden is the top of charts as far as evil empires. It's so obvious what EA is doing. Yeah. The fact that yard mode shows you the Tyler V says the fact that EA finally came out with the yard in 2020 shows you where their mind has been the last 10 years. I'm gonna tell you, the yard is a direct thing for two things, and both of them are 2K related. First of all, they were trying to find a way to have a neighborhood-like experience or park-like experience in their game, and also obviously it draws back to NFL Street. But they saw what 2K has done with Park, and they wanted a piece of that, which I don't blame them. 2K has taken stuff from other games all through history, and I'm a proponent of all of the game developers doing that. If somebody else is doing something dope and you can put it in your game, do it. Ain't no copyrights in this. These are concepts. You know what I mean? You can't. This ain't hip hop. You biting my rhymes. No, you do whatever makes your game better, so I'm for that for sure. But they also did it because I believe is because 2K's NFL license that's coming up prevents them from doing a simulation football game. So they may do something that's NFL streetish or something like that. So if Madden can have their non-simulation vehicle already going, and in its second year, when 2K comes out with their first, they feel like maybe they could be a little bit ahead of them in that sense. That's what my thinking is about it, but we will see. Classic player renders, everybody wants that to be better. Never get 2K. Well, Lamar says 2K should have never gave up that professional football license. They didn't give it up, and I think there's a lot of people that don't understand how this went. When EA got the exclusive license, EA didn't even approach the NFL about this. The NFL approached everybody who had an NFL license and said, we are interested in looking into exclusivity. So we will sell this exclusive license to somebody who's willing to meet this price. And EA said, we'll do it, because they just came out with this NFL 2K and they charging $19.99 for this joint. And they smacking people with this. The game, their game is close, if not better than ours already, and they cutting into our profits. So their business analysts sit down and say, hey, oh, you know what? It'll cost how much to get this exclusive license? Okay, so how much do we project that we will earn more if NFL 2K doesn't exist anymore? Oh yeah, that's a good business move. Let's do that. And that's how that happened. That's how that happened. A lot of people feel like, EA just was like, it was all their idea. They came out. No, EA, the NFL kicked this off first. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've said this on streams before. If I was EA, I would have did the same thing. I did the same thing, because EA's job is not to worry about whether or not there's fair competition and their opponent has just as good a chance to win as you. That's not their job. Their job is to make as much money with their product as possible. That's how business works. People be like, yeah, that's bogus of them. They're going to eliminate the competition. And now No, that's not how business works at all. If you can eliminate the competition in business, you do it all the time, every day, every day, every day. That's just how business works. Now, it'd be different if we playing a game or something. We about to play one on one, and you know, I had one of your shoes or something, so we don't have to play. Nah, that's different. That's a whole nother kind. That's a moral thing. It ain't got nothing to do with business, you know. But it's so a lot of times I think people are applying these different concepts that don't really fit for what this particular thing is. But I don't blame them, you know. So 2K didn't give up the professional football license. They either didn't have the funds to get into a bidding thing with EA, or they just felt that it wasn't worth it at the time. And to be honest, at that time, 2K hadn't taken off as this monster that it is right now. Because I'm going to tell you, if that same scenario came up right now, I believe 2K would be able to say, how much? Let's go. Let's go. You know, and I think they would be able to do that because of what has happened with Grand Theft Auto, which is under Take Two Interactive, and so that's all still the same money pot necessary, or could be considered the same assets or similar. And because of what's happening with NBA 2K with their sales, I think they would be able to stand up there and go, okay, what? How much? Let's go. You know, but at that time, I don't think it was possible. So I think that's really what happened. Michael Moss says, "Have you been watching the whole time?" Maybe he mentioned it. I don't know what he asked. No, I didn't mention it. I didn't mention that part. It was about your question. Perfect world. 2K gets the sim license in 5 years and can utilize the imagination, innovation, and talent with the NBA 2K and create a sim NFL game. You are right on point. That is the perfect world. All these people talking about some drop the whole license, make EA give it up. That just ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. It's just the contract is the contract. You know, it's not gonna happen. So this is just what it is. You know, we just gotta deal with it as this, but it's not gonna happen. They not giving up nothing. So it's just what it is. Man, I thought we was close to the bottom. Let me see where did I just leave off here. Let's see. Man, we got somebody asking about all 82 games. Okay, I see. Let's see. George Mikan needs his glasses. He definitely does. Razer did a mod for me and put the glasses on George Mikan. That was dope. That's Bull's Mystique. Let's see. Did they drop? Yeah, because Jalen Smith does wear goggles. I forgot about that, Amarion. You right. Oh, the goods is so right. He said, "Can we at least equip headbands?" Yeah, now that need to be there. That definitely need to be there, for sure. Imam Monster said, "Only saw the city trailer. Is that supposed to be my career?" Nope, that's not. They got a whole story. It's called The Long Shadow, and they didn't. To me, I don't really think they put it out there like they should have. Maybe tomorrow or something. I don't know. Hakeem Olajuwon also wore goggles in the 1990 season. Yeah, he got poked in the eye. And I think that might have been the same year he was wearing that stocking on one leg because he had blood clots, I want to say, in his right leg. Might have been the same time. DC says, what about those face masks like Rip Hamilton? Yeah, they haven't put that in there. They need that. That would be dope. If you could have a team, everybody got on a face mask, that would be dope. Even though around about this time I had all I can stand of the mask. I wear mine all the time, but I cannot wait to not have to no more. Let's see. As to anybody, he's a solo trill. Say anybody else playing all 82 games? I try to play all 82 games all the time, man. I played MLB The Show. I played all 162 games and every playoff game with the Cubs last year. Everyone. It was fun as ever to me, but I know that ain't gonna be for everybody. They didn't say how many new hairstyles they added, Lyric, but I know that they did say they added some. Red Raider said, "What happened with the Admi Bro show? You and Books was the dynamic duo." Yeah, I still talk to Nelson probably probably once a week at least. And when we talk for 2 hours. So we literally still been having At Me Bro shows, but we just been having it over the phone. We still argue, debate the whole joint. But I was at a point where I was trying to figure out how to do the best I could do with YouTube. And I just wasn't sure if that was how I wanted to do it at the time. So, but yeah, that's all that happened. But man, me and him still had the same conversations. I don't know. He still has Abby Bro, and he turned it really into a My Team only kind of a channel, and is doing really good with it. So those videos are still going up. It's just me and him ain't arguing on that no more. Ayo Cyrus says, man, I'm gonna say this: 2K cemented themselves with this next gen game. No other sports game can come close. And I said the same thing on Twitter last night when I was reading through this blog, and before I could put it out, I was like, man. Ain't no other sports game close to this right now. Nothing. It ain't close. I'm gonna tell you, to be honest with you, if they had to put my NBA out on current gen, no sports game would have been close. Not one. Even on current gen. So to have it on next gen, the gap that they created is like Usain Bolt running against Danny DeVito, bro. I'm telling you, they done ran off. Great and get so much hate. Yeah, Khalil Mack says, 50 deuce, baby. 50 deuce. What's up? He said they great. They just get so much hate. They do. They get a lot of hate, man. I always compare. I literally compare 2K to LeBron. I think they are a lot like LeBron. Like, I think LeBron is so great and so dominant that people, he make a couple mistakes, say a couple things he shouldn't say. And I feel like, people jump all on him for that, right? And he get to the point where people just love to hate him. And so all of the greatness that he has, people take it for granted. And they like, yeah, but every time something great is said, it's like, yeah, but, or whatever. And people just look at it that way. And I feel like 2K is kind of the same way. 2K has the deepest sports game out. There is no other sports game that has all of the stuff that 2K has. But yes, they got some stupid stuff. They got like stupid things that they do sometimes in the neighborhood. Stupid stuff that they do with my team. For about 2.5 years, their communication was hot trash. Like, it just got better this year, right? For about 2.5 years, though, it was boo-boo. Doo-doo in the basket bad, right? But all of that stuff kind of made people not look at what was still really good about the game. And you started taking it for granted. And I think it's a lot like LeBron. It's a lot like LeBron. So I feel like if you could compare it to a player, it's a lot like that. So Solo Trio Gamer says, so if you start in 96, will they have the players on the real teams? No, what people will have to do is they'd have to create a 1995-96 roster or a 1996-97 roster. And then you could go from there, because then you can just start importing the historic draft classes from that point on. So you'd have to create the roster as the NBA was at that time and then go from there, which is still a lot of work, but at least it's possible. See, yeah, I have a question. I got that one already. We talked about my G League. We don't know if those players are fictional or real. I'm hoping that they are real. Any hope for NBA Live next gen? I believe NBA Live is coming back for next gen. I believe they have a decent chance to do something cool. I do. I think they have a decent chance to do something cool. I think that having Scott on there is Scott O'Gallagher working on that game, which he hasn't completely confirmed that yet, but it would be kind of crazy to me if that wasn't one of the games he worked on. I think that definitely is going to help them. But it's not all they need. Live needs a complete restructuring of their on the art side. Like, artistically, they are very flawed in the player models. Like, so they'll kill it with a head here and there, but the bodies, their cloth technology, their animation systems are just flawed, just very flawed. And those are the things that they have to fix if they're going to get to a place of respectability first. Because when you flip on a live game, you looking at it and immediately in your mind, you already like, okay, downgrade it from what I've been looking at with 2K. Just immediately. That's the first thing that comes to your mind. But then if you give it a chance, you start playing it, you start seeing some stuff in gameplay. You're like, oh, well, that's actually kind of cool. And here and there you see some stuff like, oh, that actually is kind of cool. And so you start saying, well, man, if they could fix this, this, and this, but the number of things that I want them to fix far outweighs the number of things that I think are good. And to me, that's why you always end up like going back and playing 2K. Like, you want to talk about franchise mode? Man, Live's franchise mode the last 5 years was like, oh yeah, here, take this on, bam, throw this against the wall. I mean, it was terrible. So you mean to tell me that not only, I mean, even Doug Flutie, Maximum Football, and Axis Football, and them, they got sense enough to make a great franchise mode because they know from a visual standpoint and all of that, they not gonna be up to par. At least they know that. You know what I'm saying? But man, I'm talking about Live just was like, here, we ain't got nothing but some garbage. We're gonna throw this garbage on the wall, and this is franchise mode. Take it. Ta-da. I'm like, no, man, this ain't it. But I do think there's some hope. But they gotta take it one step at a time. And like, I am definitely a proponent of them coming out with a free-to-play game that's heavy on the street concept. And like, while that's not my favorite mode or whatever, I'm thinking from more of a business standpoint when I make that recommendation. From a business standpoint, they come out with a free-to-play street basketball mode where they don't charge you any money for your character, and if you can level your person up without spending money, you fine, you great. But there's certain cosmetic things you'll have to buy. And if you want to buy some sort of attribute boosting thing, you can do that. But they don't charge you anything to necessarily play. They don't charge you anything to play. And they honestly, if they wanted to really be safe, I think I would come out and not have you be able to buy your way to anything. I think only thing you would be able to spend any type of money on would be cosmetic stuff. I go that total like Fortnite approach, because nothing that you buy in Fortnite like makes you better. It's just skins and stuff. So I would do that at first. The only NBA stuff that I'd have would be some single player offline challenge stuff that you could use to make your player better. We go and play one-on-one against Trey Young. You go and play one-on-ones against Luka Doncic, or you and your guys or girls can play 3-on-3 games against like mixed 3-on-3 games against NBA and WNBA players. And I would have that as like offline stuff, and there'll be like the challenge grinds. And then, we would just work on making gameplay king. Just make the best gameplay, the best looking game and gameplay, because those are the things that's going to stand out to people in a free to play game. And then slowly but surely you add it back layer by layer. But I'm going to be honest with you, 2K is just so far ahead of them right now. I'm not even sure how realistic it is, because if next gen 2K is as good as it looks like it can be from top to bottom, because MyNBA is not the only exciting feature that they have. The city is fantastic if you dig that kind of thing. What they've done with the WNBA, even though it's not going to be a ton of people playing it, what they've done with it is fantastic. What they did with my team on current gen, even though you might not like my team, what they did with my team is fantastic. Like, my team is the best part of current gen 2K. What it appears that they've done with gameplay looks and sounds fantastic, but we got to see for sure. So Live doesn't appear to be coming in on a weak year for 2K. So we'll see. Lamar says we need to get in MyNBA Online. Mazik, you should create the classes, and we could just go one day at a time. If you miss a game, you get a sim L. Sounds good, man. We'll see. Josephus says, is there you know what? I used to know somebody named Josephus. That ain't the Josephus that I knew some. if you know me, bro, and if you know me, you'll know where you know me from. But if that's you, I can't tell from the picture. It's kind of small. Hit you, say something in the chat. But he says there are a lot of MyLeague Online content creators. They're not. they're not a lot of MyLeague Online content creators. And I'm gonna tell you, as somebody who has been doing YouTube for over 10 years, that's how you get successful as a YouTuber. You find a niche for something. It doesn't even have to be a big niche. As a matter of fact, it's better if it's smaller. But you find a niche for something. And look at the goods. Look at people like him. You find a niche and you say, I'm gonna be this. I'm gonna be this dude in this, or I'm gonna be this girl in this particular thing. And so while it might not be a ton of people searching this every day, the people who are searching it every day, they're going to find me. And then slowly but surely, I'm going to build myself from there. And so if somebody's thinking about being a MyLeague Online or a MyNBA Online content creator, that is like the lick to get into. That is one of them, because you will not have a ton of competition. You don't have to worry about going up against a Chris Smooth or a Cash or anybody like that from the beginning. You could ultimately turn into the Chris Smooth or Cash in that space, which is great. So let's see. Lyric says, if you could play a lock on more than one player, that would be super dope. Gideon Truth Chaser, what's going on, bro? How you feel? Let's see. The Zach Levine one, yeah. Did they fix any other legends? I don't know yet. Peace to you too, Gideon. Designs RR says, you hear anything about new game modes? Not yet. JJ Creates, what's going on, bro? JJ Creates did, oh my God, I just used something that you did. It was this, you did a comparison between current gen Zion Williamson and the next gen one. It was really good. I love the way he set it up, for sure. He said, it looks like they fixed the lighting. Don't look washed out like the other originals. Exactly. I say the same thing, JJ. I felt like the lighting on those ones they were putting up before was hot trash. People don't realize how important lighting is in this stuff. There is a My Career story for next gen. It's called The Long Shadow. Change the team creations. I don't think there's any change to team creation, Maddie. Let's see. It's a new story featuring high school. Yep. Yes, Blake Griffin and Zach Levine screenshots look very much next gen in my opinion. I would agree. He said, if you don't have a 4K TV, yeah, you're right. If you don't, you only gonna see so much. Gideon said that they get rid of the T-Rex arms. I hope so, because there's definitely a bunch of people whose arms are way too short. I'm like, you killing the whole vibe of who this person's supposed to be, Let's see. Is there still any chance for a new sculpting system for caps, or is it all but confirmed that it's the same as current gen? Yeah, I talked about this earlier. I know I've been on for like 2 hours now, but I talked about this earlier. They did not do anything with face sculpting. I got that confirmed directly from them. And so, yeah, it ain't going to be that. Lyric Smith says that Stephon Marbury looked like trash. I think the problem with the Marbury is he's just too dark. And his forehead should be a little wider too. But that's the biggest thing. He's too dark, and because he's too dark, it throws the whole likeness off. So you hate that hair doesn't move. The thing about hair moving in 2K is that so few guys have enough hair or the right texture of hair to move anyway. But I guess it would be cool if you saw Montrezl Harrell hair bouncing around out there. That'd be kind of dope. Let's see. Any idea when free agent? No, let's see. Let's see. Live 05 has the best dunk contest to date. That Live 05 had a good dunk contest, and they also have the best halftime show. That's the other thing that's missing. I meant to put that in the article. They still didn't say anything about improving the halftime show for 2K, and they still didn't say anything about doing like a weekly wrap-up show either. So that I think that's something that definitely is mostly related to franchise mode that's not there. At least we don't know if it's there. What about them making an option to wear individual team jerseys like the 2001 All-Star? Yeah, that's so niche. I can't imagine that would happen. Midwest King says, can you remove divisions? I would think you might have to be able to remove divisions unless maybe, I don't know. Because if you go to 12 teams, we probably be talking about 6 teams per conference. So how many divisions in the NBA? It's 6 divisions in the NBA, right? I had to double check that. I think it's 6 divisions in the NBA. Y'all got me going to the doggone. I don't want to see this. I want to see group by division. Yeah, 6 divisions. So if it's yeah, you know what? You got to be able to remove divisions, because if you don't remove divisions, you talking about having two teams in each division. So I would think you'd have to be able to remove divisions. I think that's a good question though. So what kind of updates do you think we would get post release? I think updates for MyNBA might only be fixes. I don't know what else they would add after that, but I don't know that for a fact. Reggie Butler says, if you don't know, yeah, if you don't know if your TV is 4K, you probably don't have a 4K TV. It was said on the boxes when you purchase it again. No display. Yeah. I mean, I don't think he meant nothing by that. Let's see the fact that they finally have tattoos again. Please tell me you think it was next my right. I forget. I know you're gonna be in my DMs when as soon as they got a glitch on MyNBA. A bunch of people gonna be coming out of the woodwork. Summer League in MyNBA, I don't know. Okay, all right, guys. I think I'm gonna kind of break it off. I'm gonna see if I missed anything really pertinent. I appreciate you, Goods. You said it's been a great stream. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and my man Matt Price. What's going on, sir? Player faces, tattoos, and shoes. I will be doing it. I promise. Yeah, I think. Okay, so they good. They holding people's stuff for review. Some people saying crazy stuff still. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let it ride in a minute. I'm just trying to make sure I didn't miss nothing too. Sean Singletary, what's going on, my brother? I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate you, Kevante. Let's see. Yeah, PC's not getting the upgrade. Shoot, they be looking at what PC be doing, probably saying they don't need our upgrades. They game already killing. Like they don't need our upgrades. They doing it themselves already. Raise up. What's good, bro? I appreciate you coming through here, man. I just saw you. I just got to the bottom of this thing here. What's going on, sir? What time is it? Boy, it's like 2:00 in the morning in Lithuania. I know you sleepy as ever right now. What's going on, man? I hope you doing good and everything. I saw that Kobe. And I know you probably, them first words people saying about that Kobe, you like, let me go in here and show them what I'm talking about with this Kobe. I'm going to put this here on this Kobe. Going to be pop. The last 2 ones you put out, I was like, oh, okay, I see you. I see you get that. That's that hooper competitiveness in you. Like, oh, really? They said I can't go left? Watch this here. He wouldn't laugh on us. He wouldn't laugh. But yeah, the Kobe looked way, way better now. So definitely for sure. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all coming through for sure. But yeah, I seen that it's 2 a.m. I knew it was late. Yeah, what's sleep? I know you don't know what that is. You're finishing up degrees, making folk on 2K. He the hardest working man in Lithuania. I'm the hardest working man in sports and gaming. Razor's the hardest working man in Lithuania, sports and gaming. Kind of, sort of. Y'all get what I'm saying. You understand what I mean when I say it. We got it. But I appreciate y'all coming through, man. I'm going to let y'all ride. I've been on here for 2 hours. I ain't wrote now article today because that one that went live this morning, I wrote late last night. So yeah, but I appreciate everybody coming through for sure, man. God bless and peace.